I am pleased to be joined tonight by Kevin Mitnick from Los Angeles. Mr. Mitnick, nice to have you with us.
Oh, thank you, Maria. It's great to be here.
What experiences you can tell us about after all of this time and notoriety for hacking? How have you gained the trust of companies to provide them with your services?
Usually, well, I gained my trust through my background. Since I've been, released from custody, I testified for Congress. I had several clients. I'm pretty much in the public eye, and fortunately, businesses are coming around and they're giving me the benefit of the doubt, and it's great to have that change. I mean, my life has completely made a 360-degree change since 5 years ago.
What made you change, turn around, and decide hacking is wrong?
Well, hacking has always been wrong, and I knew that, and I regret what I've done in the past, and I'm trying to take my past and leave it behind me, and using my skills, my knowledge, to help businesses and people protect themselves against the threats that are out there, because it is a dangerous world.
When you were banned from computers during your probation, following your release in 2000. When you finally logged on again, what shocked you the most? What was the first site you visited?
Well, actually, I had my own talk radio show on a Los Angeles station, and my show was all about the Internet. So it wasn't shocking to me, because I would sit behind my producers, and they would surf the Internet, and I would watch them. So the Internet was really no big surprise to me, but the commercialism of the Internet, back in my hacking heyday, if you will, there was no such thing as Google, CNBC, eBay, Amazon. All those things did not exist. The Internet was so new that that no organizations did business on the Internet. It was all educational institutions, universities, military, research organizations, and such.
How did you even get interested in doing that? I mean, I was reading in the book that you hacked for the sheer thrill of it. You just wanted the break-in, not to steal money, not to steal secrets. How did you first begin with this hobby, and was it hard to stop?
Well, when I was a young boy in high school, I was very interested in computer technologies and telephones, telecommunications, and there was a group of kids that were at my high school, and I wanted to get in there. I wanted to join this group. So I started, my first hack was a dare. They had dared me to hack into this large corporation's computer network and get access to this particular system, and that was the first time that I engaged in that activity. I actually accomplished it through a technique called social engineering, which is what my book is about, and that's when I first got into it. It was really for the thrill, the intellectual challenge, the pursuit of knowledge, the intrigue of being somewhere where I shouldn't have been.
So when you first got in, you knew you were doing something wrong?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You don't think it's that wrong, but you know that you should not be there. I mean, it's like trespassing on a neighbor's lawn. You know you shouldn't be there.
You've had incredible experience. I mean, going into jail, coming out of jail under pressure from the FBI in the early '90s. You fled. You took on new identities. You were during a 2-year manhunt. How were you finally caught? Tell me about the experience of being caught, going to jail. What was that like?
Well, the reason I ran is back in 1988, I went before a federal judge, and the prosecutors had told this judge that they would have to place me in solitary confinement, and that it was the only way to protect society, because if I had wanted to, that I could somehow launch nuclear weapons by whistling into a telephone. And the judge, surprisingly, agreed with the government, and they put me in solitary confinement for 8 months. So when I eventually was released, I ended up fleeing, and I became a fugitive. And in 1995, I was caught because there was another security expert that was able to help the FBI identify my whereabouts, because the FBI was ineffective at finding me, because I was pretty adept at covering my tracks and creating identities, and I worked legitimate positions, not under Kevin Mitnick, but under alternate identities to support myself. And
how did you do that? How did you get all the alternative identities?
Oh, I know how the system works. There's for example, there's the death record method. If you can find a person that had died, that was born in a different state, and they were at a sufficiently young age, you can simply apply for that person's birth certificate and become them. It's a very simple method that is well known.
And when you just mentioned earlier of being able to tap into the computer system and unleash nuclear weapons, you said it as if you didn't. You're saying that's not true. You're saying
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's the movie 1983 movie War Games. I mean, it was absurd that any intelligent human being could believe that somebody can make a telephone call and whistle in the telephone and cause a nuclear strike. I mean, come on.
What was the reaction to you in jail?
In jail, I was respected for my intelligence and by the other inmates, but at the same time, I was disrespected because I didn't do it for money. I didn't try to steal money, so they didn't respect that, because the people that you're with in custody, they're into stealing money and property or drug dealing and committing crimes. That's their lifestyle.
Mr. Mitnick, please stay with us. Thank you for your candor. We will slip in a break, and then I want to ask you about the big picture. How vulnerable is the United States to a massive computer attack by terrorists? We'll also talk about the hacker attacks on his own website, the subject of our quote of the day. Stay with us.
At Philip Morris USA, we understand that people want to know where we stand on important tobacco issues. On our website, you can find out.